Yeah, so if you do need anything throughout the session, just unmute and just say, Elisha, I need some help, and I can help out, okay?
Lovely. Okay, yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. We had a few more people register, but they mustn't be as much of an early bird as you girls are. So pat on the back for showing up. So yeah, we've got lovely Elisha from BodyTrack Exercise Physiology who's going to take us through a session this morning. She's one of the amazing women's health EPs there, and so she's so knowledgeable about all things like to do with endo and adeno and moving your body safely. So yeah, I can't wait to go through the session. So I'll take it over to you, Elisha.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So welcome to our exercise session this morning. Today we're going to go through a few different types of exercises that help to manage pain, but also other aspects just of quality of life and things like that. So we will get into a little bit of strength, body weight strength and cardiovascular based work as well at the end. But in the beginning, we're going to go through a little bit more mobility and activation that's going to help potentially manage pain by opening up through our abdominal fascia, so all of our connective tissue and things like that, because with endometriosis, some of our endometrial implants can actually attach onto scar tissue and fascial tissue and other sorts of things like that, and it can create that downward pulling and impact our posture, and also create like cramping sensations and things like that, which some of you might already know and experience. So we're going to try and open up through our abdominal fascia, but the trick is to go pretty gently so that we don't create too much length at once, okay? And it's more of a gentle mobilization rather than a forceful mobilization. So what we'll do is we'll get cracking. We're going to hop down. Now, if you've got a mat, a yoga mat or something like that, great. If you've just got a towel or a rug on the floor, that is fine as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down onto our mat into a nice relaxed child's pose. So you're going to pop your knees about hip width or wider apart, hands out in front, and we're going to just gently push our bottom back, okay, over our heels like this. Now, if that's not comfortable, you can sit up into it a little bit more, okay? Or you can come and fold right forward and let the chest sink towards the floor. All right. Now, if this is uncomfortable, please give us a shout, okay? And I can adapt the exercise if need be, just like any of the other exercises throughout today's session. And if you at any point can't see me properly or hear me properly, just give us a shout and we'll sort it out, okay? Cool. So now we're going to come up onto hands and knees, and we're going to go through our cat camel. Now with this one, I want to focus a little bit more on our midsection of our spine rather than neck. So when we look up, try not to move mostly with the neck. We want to try and really dip the belly down towards the ground and think about pushing our sternum forward, okay, sort of up in that 45-degree angle. And then we want to arch the back up towards the sky, nice and gently. Good, and then letting the belly sink back down towards the ground and thinking about pushing that sternum up at that 45-degree angle. That just helps to open up through our abdominal fascia a little bit more. And then we go back the other way into our camel hump. All right, and then we drop back down, nice and gently moving throughout these movements. So the key with all mobility exercises is to go through your comfortable range, and we don't want to feel like we're really pushing into that end range and forcing it, okay? It's more a gliding movement. All right, we'll do two more here. So raising up into our camel hump and then coming back down, belly to ground, sternum or breastbone forward. And then last one, arching up and belly down. All right. Now, from this position, we're going to go back into child's pose, but just about halfway down, Okay, so tuck your toes under like I am, so don't point them out. Tuck them under. And what we're going to do is just wiggle the pelvis gently side to side, okay? So getting that nice opening through the lumbar, so your lower back, okay? And again, nice and gentle with this one, slowly moving side to side. 2 more. Last one. Excellent. All right, the next thing we're going to do is come down onto our side. Now, this is a mobility one that's going to open us through both rotation and flexion, okay? So this is going to help really open up through our abdominal fascia. So what we're going to do is either put our hands underneath our head like this, or if you have a little pillow nearby, you can also pop that underneath and have your arm out in front. Up to you, whatever's most comfortable. Then you're going to put the hand of the top hand behind your ear. You're going to reach that elbow forward so that we get that nice stretch throughout here, okay? Then we're going to draw a rainbow. So we're going to reach, go up overhead, okay? And then open all the way out. Now, if this is too much, you can also go for more of a book opening, okay, which is just rotation on its own. So that's option 1, okay. Option 2 is hand behind the head, opening right up through our shoulder and then coming back. Now with this movement, I want you to try and focus on the rotation through the spine and your rib cage. Okay, so really opening up through your rib cage. It shouldn't just be the arm going back behind you like this. So to keep your hips nice and square, you can also try having the bottom leg out straight. Okay, that is another option. And this is a little bit more stable in that position. You can't quite cheat and roll back as much because the front knee needs to stay in contact with the ground. Okay, so really opening up. We'll do a few more on this side. If there's any pain, let me know, because it is opening up through the connective tissue in our tummy. All right, so now you can flip sides, or I'll go the other way like this. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So option 1, knees are bent out in front, doing our book openings like this. Option 2, the top knee is bent, knee is on the floor and it stays on the floor throughout the movement. The bottom knee is straight out the back like this, hand behind the head, rotating nice and open, and then bringing it back. Now remember with this one, we're really trying to focus on the movement coming from your thoracic spine. So the thoracic spine is the section of the spine where your rib cage is, okay? And sometimes if our abdominal fascia or any of the connective tissue down the front is tight, it can actually impact our movement, and it can impact a variety of other things such as breathing, because our rib cage moves when we breathe, okay, as well as our diaphragm. Our diaphragm is what impacts our breathing quite significantly. So if we're really quite stiff through this section of the spine, it can impact our rate of breathing and I guess the comfort of breathing, and then impact a variety of other aspects. All right, all done there? Yes.
It's Emily here.
Hi, Emily.
I just had a question. I am finding it impossible to keep my knee flat on the floor and bend my shoulder, like my arm, all the way like open.
Yes. So you're finding that you can't quite get through the whole range?
Yeah.
Yes. So that just might mean, is it a pain thing, or is it more?
Like I'm feeling it more in my shoulder than I am in my like ribs.
Yes. Yep. Definitely. And that might, in the front of the shoulder, do you mean, or the back?
Yeah, the front.
The front, yes. So that probably means that we've got maybe a little bit of tension through the front of the chest, and that can be something that can be assisted with a chest stretch in this position, okay? Something like that, or also a doorway chest stretch position. So your arms go up on the door frame and you push your chest through. Now, we can, our abdominal fascia is also continuous with some of our pec fascia, so that connective tissue comes all the way up. So sometimes when we're in pain and we're guarding, we do come down into this position and it can tighten through our pecs and our chest a little. So that's probably something that you're finding is tough, that it's more for you, your shoulder and your chest connective tissue is tight, and that's restricting the movement. So even if you're feeling that in the chest, that's okay. You might find that that particular exercise is going to benefit you more from a chest stretch aspect, and then longer term, as you practice, that will start to alleviate and you'll start to get more of mobility throughout the whole system. Okay, does that make sense and answer your question?
Yeah, cool. Thank you for explaining that.
No, that's no worries at all. Cool. All right, so next thing we're going to do is actually a little bit of shoulder range of motion. So you can either lie on your back like this. We'll do this one first actually, and then if you want a little bit more, we'll do the next one. So we're going to do an angel. So you're going to have your hands out wide and you're going to trace them along the ground, okay, up as high as you're comfortable. Now, if you're getting any pinching in the back of the shoulder or up into the neck, let me know, okay? So we're going to go up and then back down. We're getting that nice chest stretch. Now with this one, it is better if we can have the palms of the hands facing the sky, because it just opens through the chest a little bit more. When we have our hands down, we're still in that rotated position forward, okay? And you might just not get the most out of the stretch. So slowly lifting up above and then down again. And if you want to go right up overhead, that's also perfectly fine. Now, if you're finding that you're not quite getting the chest stretch here, what you can do is grab your towel, or if you've got a foam roller nearby, you can use that. Or you can also use a little ball or a cushion or anything like that. And you can roll up your towel so that we've got a nice cylinder here. Now, a towel's probably the kindest because it's a little soft, okay? And it will just help to facilitate the stretch and not force it too much, okay? So we're going to come down with the towel just on the lower angle of your shoulder blade. So at the very bottom of your shoulder blade, almost on your bra line, okay? And we're going to have our hands behind our head and gently open up like this. Now, if this is uncomfortable for anyone, please let me know, okay? Because this is the reverse of the posture that we're in throughout the day. So if you are a desk worker, or if you spend a lot of time carrying things, leaning forward, driving, any of those sorts of things, then this might be a little bit uncomfortable. So from here, just to get a little bit more mobility, we can try that angel exercise again. So you'll bring your hands down and then open right up over top, okay? And you might find that you get a little bit more of a stretch with this one. If you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. It will all depend on where your own personal and individual tensions are, okay? But if you are finding that it's tight in the neck or in the back of the shoulder, just shout. Now, if you want a little bit more, you can pop your hands up like this, okay? And reach up overhead like that. You might get a little bit more through the chest here with the stretch, or the front of the shoulder as well. That's fine too. All right, a few more of these in this position. Remember to breathe. Excellent. And then when we come up, it's a little bit tricky. So just pop your hands behind the base of your skull so that you're really quite well supported. Tuck the chin in, and then you can either roll off sideways or sit up from there, okay? Whatever's best for you. And then we can get rid of our towel, okay? So we can unroll that there. So that one was really working on opening up through the chest as well. Now, if any of you have had bubs when we're in that breastfeeding position as well, or even bottle feeding or carrying, that exercise can help to open us up through the chest and the shoulder, okay? Because that can become quite tight post-pregnancy and with the postures that are required after delivery as well. Cool. So now we're going to go into one last exercise for mobility, okay? We're going to hop down onto hands and knees again. Now this time, we'll try a couple of different ones. So this one can be quite stretchy. So if you can't quite get into this position, let me know and I'll show you an alternative. So what we'll do is we'll pop one leg out to the side, nice and gently, okay? Now if that's already too much, you can bend the knee a little bit as long as it's quite wide on that side. And then we're going to oscillate forward and backwards like this, okay? But trying not to let the bottom tuck under at the back there, okay? So trying to keep that spine nice and neutral. So you can either do it with bent knees, which is a little less. If you want a little more stretch, straight leg is fine as well, okay? And this side's quite tight for me. It's pretty stretchy on the inner thigh. So if that's fine, keep this going. If it's not, you can come into a standing position and try more of an adductor stretch in this position. Perfectly up to you. The 4.1 is probably a bit of a bigger stretch, okay? So if you're finding that this is fine, keep going with your 4-point stretch. Good, and then you can switch sides, okay? Now, if it's too much, just give me a shout. So this is really opening up our adductor, so our inner thigh muscle. Now, this inserts very close to some of our pelvic floor fascia, okay, and onto it, and it can impact further up the chain. So if we're a little bit tight or restricted in movement in our pelvis, these muscles here can also be accountable for that. So if we mobilize our hip joints, it can actually help to mobilize our pelvis a little bit more too, because it's all linked together. All right, now we're going to go onto our back. Now we're going to try some diaphragmatic breathing in a variety of positions. Now we'll start in supine, okay, in a crook lying position. So that's the position I'm in here. Your back's flat on the floor, your neck's nice and relaxed, okay? We're not pushing our spine down or anything. It's just a relaxed, neutral position, and our knees are bent with our feet planted on the floor, okay? Palms facing the sky. We're going to take a moment to just take a few deep breaths in. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one, in through the nose, out through the mouth. So now I want you to start bringing your attention to your breathing style. You're going to place one hand on your sternum or the breastbone at the front and the other hand on your belly, okay? Now you're going to really think about where your breath is entering your body, okay? So if when you breathe in, just your chest lifts and your belly doesn't lift, that means that we're not quite getting our diaphragmatic breathing pattern in the right position, okay? So it can then impact tissues further down and tensions and things like that. So we're going to work on that there. If you're finding that you're getting that nice belly and rib expansion at the same time, so your hand on chest and belly are moving quite similarly, that's perfect, okay? And we're going to keep going like that. So breathe in through the nose and really bring awareness to where you're feeling the expansion, and then exhale through the mouth and then making sure that everything relaxes off. So it shouldn't be forced. So if you're finding you're going, okay, that's a little bit too much force, let's just take it nice and steady. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, something that you can do with the exhale through the mouth instead of pursing the lips, we actually want to do more of a sigh, like a, okay? So it's almost like you're sighing the breath out. And that just helps to open up through the neck a little bit as well. If you're finding it hard to breathe in this position or get the breathing right, we can actually go onto your side, into side lying, okay? So in this position, our abdominals are a little bit different in terms of how they're being loaded by gravity, and we can perhaps sense the breathing cycle a little bit more. So if you wanted, you can try breathing on your side. So deep breath in, exhaling out through the mouth, sigh. Okay. Yep, breathing in. Oh, there's a dog running towards me. Exhale, it's so cute. Oh, deep breath in. And exhaling out. Last one, deep breath in. And exhaling out. So these are some strategies that you can take. For example, if you're having trouble sleeping at night, or you're finding that you're feeling quite restricted in breathing, or your heart rate's coming up if you're getting worried about something, all of those different aspects, because our diaphragmatic breathing can actually assist in reducing heart rate, okay, and really bringing the system back down, reducing cortisol levels, so things that impact our fight or flight mode. So it really helps to just bring us back to center and really, I guess, take a breath. So what I'll get you to do now is hop onto hands and knees, because we're going to try breathing in 4 points. So in this position here, okay, you're going to try that deep inhale through the nose again. Exhale. Inhale, let the belly sink towards the ground. Exhale. 2 more breaths in this position. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhaling. Great. So they're the 3 different styles that you can try at home. So either in supine on your back, okay, lying on your side, or onto your hands and knees. All of those different styles might feel different for everyone. So whichever one you feel, you can get your diaphragmatic breathing happening correctly. So that's when we get that nice big inhale into the abdominal region as well as the chest, and then the exhale coming from the whole system. Okay, so not just chest breathing and rib expansion here, it's the whole system. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is get into a little bit of stability work. So our stability work is basically, we're going to go through some hip function, so hip stabilization, and also working and learning how to activate our abdominals. Okay, so what we'll do to start with is come back down onto our back. Okay, you're going to have your feet quite close to your bottom here. And we're going to think about our sit bones, okay? So if at any point you don't understand what I'm talking about, just unmute and ask me a question, okay? So thinking about those sit bones, which are the 2 bones on the base of the pelvis that you sort of sit on when you're sitting in a chair, okay? We're going to imagine we're gently bringing them together, okay, towards each other. Now you're going to gently squeeze your bottom cheeks together, and only gently, and then you're going to tuck your pelvis and lift your hips up to about mid-height, okay? Then we're going to slowly roll the spine down, 1 vertebrae at a time, okay, to come back into our start position. Relaxing all the muscles off here, we then try again. So we gently bring those sit bones together, we gently squeeze our bottom cheeks, and we exhale and lift. Then we inhale and slowly come down to lower, okay? Now, if you're feeling this in the lower back at all, please give me a shout, because I'll adapt the exercise and maybe give you a couple more cues. But what you can do here now is just keep going through the up and down, okay? So exhale to lift, sit bones come together, tuck under, and then inhale to lower, relaxing all of the muscle tension off here. Again, exhale, gently bring those sit bones together, squeezing the bottom cheeks, and then inhale to lower. Now, if this is feeling pretty comfy and straightforward, you can start lifting higher, okay? So you can start coming into this position. Now, the trick of this, I don't know if you can see my spine really well, but we don't want the arch at the lower back, okay? So see how my pelvis is sort of tilting that way? We want to tilt it this way because that loads our glute max, okay? So our buttocks muscles a little bit more than our lumbar. So if with endo and developing tension through fascia at the front, that can actually become quite restricted. So if you're having trouble keeping that pelvis tucked under in that roll-up position, just go to the point where you feel that the tension's not impacting, okay? So for me, I sort of get to this point and then I feel there's tension there. I can't quite go high without arching my back. That's your end of range. We don't want to push higher and impact our technique because then we're actually not addressing the muscles that we want to address, okay? A couple more in this position, rolling up. Might be starting to feel the spine really loosening off there and getting each articulation, so each individual vertebrae touching the ground at a time as you roll down. And then lucky last one, exhale, sit bones come together, rolling up, and then gently rolling that down. Now, next thing we're going to do is flip over onto our side. Okay, there's a couple of options for this one. We're going to start at option 1, which is working on our lateral hip stability. Okay, so the muscles that are in the side of the hip here that help to align the knee and the thigh bone really nicely when we're walking. Okay, what we're going to do is make sure our feet are in line with our bottom. Okay, planted on the floor, heels are gently pressed together. And we're going to think about those sit bones again, okay? So I want you to really think about drawing this thigh up into this hip joint and think about gently bringing those two sit bones together. So almost like a little squeeze. And we're going to rotate this thigh up. So it's not just as simple as lifting the knee, because if we just lift the knees apart, we might actually recruit more so our global muscles. And we really want to isolate those little lateral hip muscles, okay? So to do that, we think about the gentle squeeze between the heels. We think about bringing those sit bones together at the back there, and we gently rotate the thigh out and then gently let it come back down. Now, what you might think, what you might find, here, is on the way down, you might be a little shaky, and that's okay. It's just that's a particular strength then we want to work on. So taking the range quite slowly, all right? If we go quite quickly, it can just shorten the muscle. So we want to do it with control, okay? And really work on and isolate those little lateral hip stabilizers and the little muscles that attach around our hip joint, because a couple of those attach very close to our pelvic floor fascia and connective tissue, which also impacts our trunk tissue as well. So it's all connected. Now, if you do have any implants in any of your hip muscles and they're starting to feel tight or sore, just let me know, okay? And just shout, or you can just stop the exercise. Now, if this one's getting, seeming pretty easy, great. You can try an advanced one, but this one is pretty tricky. So what we're going to do is we'll come up onto our elbow. Now, if the other one's where you want to stay, that's fine. You can stay there and keep going. If you want to try a more advanced one, we'll get into this position. So your elbow is underneath you. You push your shoulder and your elbow down into the ground. So we don't want to be in this position, okay? We want to really push down into the ground with that side, push the heels into the ground, push this knee down into the ground, and lift the hips up from here. and then we can try doing a little clam in that position too. Okay. All done. Excellent. All right, let's try the other side. So that one's quite an advanced one there. So flipping over, we're trying the other side. So again, with our alignment, heels in line with the hips or the back of the pelvis there. Okay, our knees are slightly bent. We're going to make sure that our hips are stacked on each other, so not back like this or too far forward, mostly on top of each other there. And we're going to think again about our sit bones, gently bring them together, gently think about drawing this thigh up into your hip joint, okay? And then gently rotating the thigh out by squeezing the heels together, bringing those sit bones together there, and then gently relaxing the tension off there, okay? Good. Slow and controlled is key with all of our activation movements. So if on this side you want to go straight up into that side plank position, that's perfectly fine. If you're happy in this position, stay here for a little bit longer, okay? If you want, you can go up into our side plank and do our clam in this position here, okay? And you might find that that under glute is already a little bit fatigued, okay? So it might feel slightly different on this side because we've already worked that hip quite a little bit, okay? Good, keep going. We'll do 4 more repetitions. Excellent. All right. Next thing we're going to do is come over onto our 4-point again. I might flip around for leg room. Okay, so we're going to have our hands directly under our shoulders, knees directly under our hips, and we're going to go into a hip extension, all right? Now from this position, if you've got socks on and you've got tiles or wooden floor, what you could do is you can actually drag that foot out, keeping it in contact with the ground, okay? Now, when we extend, I want you to think about an exhale, okay, and activating through our lower abdominal muscles, all right? So exhale, inhale. Now, if you don't have a slippery floor surface, you can hover that leg, the toes and the knee just above the ground, okay? If you're finding that pretty tricky, you can also, or if you need to brace, if you're finding you're really needing to squeeze your muscles on to stabilize, you can actually just try lifting the foot slightly like this and then putting it back down. Okay, so it's up to you on your range. So you can reach right out or you can lift up just slightly just to challenge your stability in your trunk, okay? So sliding out, exhale, inhale, bringing it back, okay? Exhale, so focusing on that diaphragmatic breathing that we worked on before. Inhale, we get the nice big belly breath. Exhale, inhale. Okay, let's do the other side. All right, so hands are firmly planted in the ground again. We're making sure we're not locking out through our elbows. Okay, so keep them soft, but really push the pinky fingers into the ground to get our shoulder blades in the right position. Going to exhale, push the other leg back behind you. Inhale, bring it back down and repeat. Exhale, inhale to come down. Exhale, push out. Inhale, come down. So with the exhale on the push back, our lower abdominals are working. Inhale, our tummy relaxes. Exhale, slight activation. Inhale, tummy relaxes. Couple more. Last one. Exhale. Inhale to come back to center, okay? So the next thing we're going to go through is a bit of a plank. All right, now in this position, we're going to keep it dynamic so that we're not just bracing through our abdominal tissue, okay? So you'll get into your 4-point position again. Your toes will be tucked like so. And what we're going to do is lift up into this position and then down, okay? So we don't hold it for too long at all. It's more of an exhale, inhale, exhale to lift, inhale to lower, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Now, if you're feeling tension in the lower back, please shout. It might just mean that we need to make sure that you're not in this position, okay? And that we're in that nice, strong spine position where we've got our natural curves happening here, okay? Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. 2 more. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower, relax all the muscles off. And then last one, exhale, engage, lift, inhale, lower, relax everything off. So that relaxation phase at the end there, where we let all of the muscular tension relax and reduce, really helps us with improving overall stability and not just tightening structures, okay? So that's really important there. All right, so next thing that I wanted to do, now this can be done in a variety of positions. If you're comfortable lying on your front, great, you can do it on the floor. If you're more comfortable in a standing up position, you can also do it in that position there. So I'll show you both. If you're not comfortable here, then we'll wait until we get into the standing up one. So this is working on our shoulder blade muscles. Now, like we discussed earlier with the tension through the chest, okay, with feeding positions, with bub, or also driving, working at a desk, we can become quite rounded through the shoulders. Now, we need to work on our postural muscles in the back to really help to manage this, okay? So we're going to pop our hands down to our side here. We're going to have our shoulder blades slightly drawn back together, and then you'll exhale, lift the hands up, inhale to lower. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower, okay? Exhale, lift, inhale, and lower. Now, keep going there if you're comfortable on your front. If you're not, hop up, okay? And we can actually do it in a forward lean position. So with our forward lean, we don't want to lean with our rounded spine like this. We want to be quite upright, tilt forward, sit your sit bones out, okay? Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. So exhale, inhale, big belly breath. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. So keep going there with either the floor ones or the standing ones, whichever you prefer. We'll do a few more repetitions. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Exhale, lift, bring those shoulder blades together. Inhale, lower. So shoulder blades back together, lift, inhale, and lower. Great. Now, for the next couple of exercises, I'm going to go into a standing position, okay? And it's working on our hip extension with rotation. So beforehand, when we did our rotations on the floor, our little clams, that's really good to isolate the muscle, okay? Now, what we also want it to do is work functionally. So if we just do clams all day long, we'll have really strong glute medius and glute mins, okay? But they might not translate over into functional activities. And that's really the end goal, to have really stable and strong hips in standing, okay? So you can hold on to either the back of a chair or kitchen bench or the wall, anything that's handy there, okay? And what we're going to do is have a slight lean forward and slight sit back with the pelvis. So not just a bend of the knees, it's more of a tilt forward, pelvis back, okay? You're going to stand on one leg, bring the other leg up into about that 90-degree position. Then from here, we're going to keep going with our breathing pattern. We'll exhale, extend the leg back behind you, okay? And then inhale to lower it. Exhale, extend, inhale to lower. All right? Exhale, extend, inhale lower. Now, what you can do as well to try and challenge yourself even more is do an extend with an external rotation. Okay, so if you can see here, we extend and then we turn the knee out. Knee comes down and forward. Exhale, extend, rotate. Inhale, come down. Exhale, extend, rotate. Okay, now if you're finding this a bit challenging on the one leg, let me know and I can change it up. Good. 2 more. So really think about sweeping that knee out. And remember, like the clams we did on the ground, we think about drawing the thigh into the hip, turn it out, and then down. All right? Switch feet. Okay, so exhale, extend, rotate if you're doing the rotation version, or just do the extension, up to you. Okay, so these ones are really important for hip function and health. Okay, if you're feeling anything in the lower back, even if it's an activation, just let me know. Good. And when I say really important for hip function and health, it also impacts our pelvis and our lower back position and our trunk position, okay, and how strong and stable we are through the hips and the pelvis. When we're walking, our hips and pelvis take our body weight, most of the load, okay, so we need to have strength here to not only be able to do the movement effectively, but also optimize movement, okay, and reduce the tension in other structures that might not need it. Last one. Great, all done. Okay, so we're going to go into strengths now. So all of those movements were different variations on yoga and Pilates and all of those different things. And then we want to translate those into more functional movements, because when we're walking around the house, if we're lifting up, you know, going down into the dishwasher, lifting up washing, lifting up kids, anything like that, standing up from a chair, we are doing exercises where they're more complex and involving multi-joint. So we need to be strong in those positions. Now, the next phase is strength. We're going to try a squat first, okay? If you do have any objects, even if it's a water bottle, you can hold it at the chest if you'd like more resistance. Or when you try them at home, you can try lifting cans or weights if you've got them, or even holding onto a bag that has some resistance in it, like a couple of books or something like that, okay? So your feet are just wider than hip width apart here, and you're going to either hold an object or have your hands across your chest or on your pelvis, up to you, okay? Then we're going to bend both knees and hips at equal rates, and then push up from that position there, okay? So I'm going to try it side on so that you can see. So our knees and hips bend together here, and then push up together, okay? Now, if you're feeling like you're falling back a little bit when you're down in your squat, I want you to push down through your toes and your heel, okay? So really make sure that you've got the whole foot in contact with the ground. That activates our muscles underneath our feet, which assists with working all up the chain nice and high, okay? So it will help with balance. So pushing into your feet, into the ground, bend both knees and hips, standing back up from there. If you're comfy through that range, we can start to go a little bit lower, okay? Up to you. So ideally, we try and strengthen the muscles throughout the full range. So if you can get nice and low, great. If not just yet, that's fine. It's something that you can work on. Good. We'll do 5 more here. 4 more. 3 more. Thinking about really bringing those sit bones together at the top. 2 more, like in our glute bridge on the floor that we did. Last one. Done. Great, so that's our classic squat. Okay, there's so many different ways that you can adapt to that. That's more applicable to you, depending on whether that was comfortable or not, and then also what your goals are. So we could even look at doing like a performance variation where we're lifting more loads, and you can also do the load on the front or the back, or yeah, there's so many different ways that you can perform that movement, but that was the classic version. Now we're going to go into a Romanian deadlift. Okay, so you can either hold your object in front of you like this. Now with this one, our feet are a little more narrow. So they're just under our hips a little bit closer together than in that squat position. Okay, now this is working on our posterior longitudinal chain. So these muscles help us to come into this position, and also with walking, running, all of those sorts of movements. Okay, so coming into this position here, we're going to hinge from the hips. Okay, so with the squat, I'll just go over both of them so you can see the difference. So our squat's a little bit more upright. Okay, our Romanian deadlift is a little bit more of a fold forward. All right, now we don't keep those knees locked and straight, we keep them soft, but they don't bend up and down as much. Okay, and then we come back up into our standing. We get that fold forward at the hip, so I always think about hips go back like that, so almost like a break in the hips, sit the sit bones back, and then coming up. Okay, inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Do 4 more. This is working mostly on our hamstrings, glutes, and then our spinal stabilizers. Last one. Done. Excellent. All right. Now what we're going to do is go into more of a split stance lower movement, okay? So there's lots of different variations of this. We'll hold on to something to start with. We'll go into that nice little hip hinge again. So you know with the squat how we were doing that position, very similar to that. However, one leg is weighted about 80%. The back leg's weighted about 20%, okay? So most of your weight is on that front leg. Holding on to something for stability, we're getting that break at the hips, bend in the knees, come down, stand back up from there, okay? Come down, back up from there. Now, if this is pretty easy, you can start to go a little bit lower. So you just might need to take that other leg back, start to come into a bit more of a lower position, but you should really be feeling that front leg, the glute working pretty hard. If you're not, just give me a shout. Good. If that's easy still, we can go more into our lunge position. Okay, so coming down into our split squat. For this, we're quite upright though. Okay, both knees bend at equal rates, keeping the trunk quite upright, pushing down and back up. If that's a bit too much, you can take it back to the assisted split squat. All right, good. Now, we'll go on to the other side. So 80% of body weight on the front leg, 20% on the back. We'll start with the short range one, see how you feel. You could build into more depth here. Okay, and if that's fine, you can go back into our lunge, which is more of an upright trunk, bending both knees at equal rates. And then you can go all the way down to almost touching the ground with the back knee if you wish. If it's too much, just bring it back to our assisted one. So whilst you keep going here, making sure we're breathing, okay? Keep on going, we'll do a few more. That one's really good for pelvic health as well, okay? Because it's a split stance position, you're working a bit more unilaterally, so one side. And when we're walking, turning, pushing the trolley around, you know, sports, you know, playing athletics or any sorts of ball sports and things, we need that movement to be one leg at a time. So that's a really good one to work on for stability, okay? Cool, all right, all done there. Now comes the fun part. So we're going to get into a few minutes of cardio, all right? Now let me know if you get too out of breath or anything becomes uncomfortable here, but cardio is one of those types of exercises that can really help circulate blood flow, okay, help with pain management, also help with mood and all of those different sorts of things. Today's going to be a little bit more of a dance style cardio, just because we don't have much equipment, okay, but you can do things like walking, or if you jog, great, if you bushwalk, fantastic, cycling, swimming, all of those sorts of things cardiovascular based exercise, and it's really, really good for not only people with endometriosis, but just from an overall quality of life perspective, cardiac health, lung health, lots of different things. So what we're going to do to start with is just get down into our little squat position. You're going to squat and then butt kick, okay? So let me know if anything causes any soreness or pain, but this is just like our little fun finisher. All right, we'll do 6 more. So stay bouncy with it and stay low to the ground. 2 more and done. Excellent. Now we're going to turn side on. We're going to roll forward and then roll up. So roll forward. Sorry about my dorky dance moves. I'm well known for the boomerang at work. Really good at a boomerang. Good. Down, up, down, and up. All right, now we swap sides, okay? So get that nice forward lean, roll down, roll up, roll down, roll up. I'm sure most of you are better at dancing than me. Good. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Done. Excellent. Now we're going to do some little quick squats again with a little clap, okay? Now, if your joints are pretty happy, body's feeling good, okay, what you can do is a little hop. Up to you. If you don't want the hop, that's okay. You can just do the little bounce in the knee. All right, if you want the hop, beautiful. Yeah, Tara just said, let's get some music going. 3, 2, and done. Awesome. All right, let's come down onto our mat for our last little cool down. So lying down onto your back, take a few deep breaths. It's pretty hot out here. All right, and we're going to try our diaphragmatic breathing again. All right, so thinking about deep breath in, expand the chest and the belly. Exhale, let everything come back together. Inhale, in we go. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale here. Good. So everyone, we're going to straighten out our legs there, okay? We're going to come down into our relaxation pose. We're going to just spend a minute here taking our nice deep breaths, relaxing all the muscles in the body, okay? And thinking about how we've just done some movements, and they might be movements that you've done before. They might be new movements, and thinking about the variety that we've done. So we did mobility, we learned some diaphragmatic breathing, we also learned some activation exercises, some strength, then also Elisha's dorky cardio moves, and now we're into our nice little relaxation phase. So we've done and addressed quite a few different systems, okay, and done quite a global workout. Now, these are all different things that can be applied differently in your life, and also might not be as appropriate to you as to others. So some sorts of exercise might be better for you over other people, and vice versa, and that's all right. It depends on conditions, goals, how your muscles work on an individual capacity, and then also what you want to be able to do, whether it's a sporting or athletic background, or whether you want to be able to do a hike every week or play with the kids or any of those sorts of things. It really needs to be tailored to you in order to gain those goals. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. 4 more breaths. Keep breathing. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Great. So you can keep lying there if you're feeling pretty comfy. Otherwise, we can come up into sitting. Okay, so as I said before, it was all body weight. So there's only a variety of exercises that we can do there. If you've got equipment at home, there's so many different things that we can do. Now, under the new telehealth services, it's been so exciting to see conditions, like referred conditions, being able to be accepted on telehealth bulk bills in our clinic, which is really exciting. So I'm seeing lots of women over telehealth, just like this, except I usually get to see the way that you're moving, and we go through different exercises that are appropriate for either pain management or functional capacity and variety of different things, even all the way through to strength and conditioning for your particular either medical condition or goals. And yeah, it's been really exciting to see that the government has accepted that enhanced primary care referrals, which people with chronic conditions might be eligible for. They've been accepted under the telehealth services, so, or in clinic. So we're open at the moment, which is fantastic, and hopefully we will remain open. The way things are going, everyone's been doing a really good job flattening the curve with the virus. So we've been able to stay open because we are clinical. So we service clinical conditions, and we see clients one-on-one in clinic in our private studio. So if you do find that because the gym's closed or anything like that, that you're having difficulties exercising at the moment, feel free to reach out and I can assist in giving you a bit of direction, or do a 15-minute free consult with you to see how to best go forward and move forward throughout this, because it's pretty unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen next. And yeah, hopefully everyone can stay safe. But thank you all for joining me this morning. I hope you're feeling really good. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, you can unmute now and give them to me.
Does anyone have any questions?
Is everyone feeling okay?
You survived.
Yeah,
so
all good here. That was great. Thank you.
that's so
No,
good, Emily.
no problem.
Yeah,
No problem at all.
It's good to see you.
Yes, you too.
Thanks, Margaret. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Elisha. That was wonderful.
No problem.
Hope everyone didn't mind having to watch me do that either.
How'd you go?
Good. It was great. I like the dance bit at the end. It reminds me of Zumba.
Yeah. I love a good Zumba dance class. It's pretty fun, especially when you do it with friends, because you can have a bit of a giggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, wonderful. All right. Well, we will let you get on with your day. Thank you so much, Elisha.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me. I hope you're all keeping safe.
Yeah, so stay safe and well, girls. And there'll also be a little survey that will get emailed out to you. If you could just fill that one in, that just helps us improve our events and things like that. So yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
See you.